Hey, it's a jungle. Sometimes you can find good deals on gongs or bells, bowls. Other times, who knows? So how do you buy instruments on eBay? We're going to talk about that today on It's Cuppa Time. Michael Bettine here once again on It's Cuppa Time. Today, we're going to take a look at eBay. I've been buying gongs, bowls, bells, and other percussion instruments on eBay for a little over 20 years now. Sometimes you can really get a good find. Other times you can get ripped off. How do you know what to look for? What not to look for on eBay? We're going to look at that in detail. Now what's important, I think really important to know, is eBay has changed so much over the years. Like I said, I've been on eBay a little over 20 years. Now 20 years ago, eBay was pretty much a garage sale, a rummage sale, that type of thing. It was mostly people like you and I selling the junk they had, sitting around in their basement, or stuff they just didn't use or need anymore. And back then, you could find a lot of fantastic deals on things if you knew what you were looking for. I bought a lot of gongs and bells and bowls and stuff, 15, 20 years back, and I got some amazing deals on them. Partly because people didn't know what they had. So they were just selling stuff cheaply. And I knew what they had. So I was always searching for those bargains and coming up with some good deals. Now over the years, eBay has changed dramatically, and so much of it now is corporate. It's all big businesses, box stores, other stores, putting all their wares up there. And a lot of that stuff isn't any different than you can go down the street and buy. The same thing for the same price, sometimes even less, because you can get a better deal and there's no shipping. So the whole tone of eBay has really changed a lot. And now everybody thinks they can make money, lots of money. So there's all kinds of stuff thrown up there, and I find a lot of people who are selling gongs and bowls and that have no idea what they're doing, no idea about what they are selling. Here's a good example. I bought a gong probably 3 years ago. I looked at the listing, I knew what it was. It looked real good, the price was good, I bought it. When I got the gong, it wasn't what was exactly in the listing. So I contacted the buyer and said, hey, this isn't what you had listed. And they admitted to me, they said, oh, I'm sorry, I just copied another listing to sell their own item that was similar to it. But it wasn't the exact same thing. So people are lazy now. They didn't do any research. They didn't do anything to look into the item they had. They just went on eBay, found something. Oh, that's kind of like what I have. And they copied the other person's listing word for word and put it up. So they were selling, so if you were unsuspecting and didn't know anything, you probably wouldn't have known any better. I knew, and I said, hey, this is not what I thought I was buying. So they refunded me the money and took the gong back. And, so things like that. A lot of people are just putting stuff up on eBay with no knowledge. And especially now, because sound healing, sound therapy, whatever you want to call it, is a huge business. So people who are selling gongs and bowls and bells they can smell money. And they are just putting everything up on eBay with all kinds of crazy descriptions, and so much of it is wrong. So as you hear me talk about in the video, buzzwords to watch out for. When you are buying things, the current big buzzwords are Tibetan, because there's something still mystical about the country of Tibet. So many gongs, bowls, and bells will say Tibet when they are not made in Tibet. They have nothing to do with Tibet other than maybe they were imported into Tibet and sold from Tibet to the person who has it. I mean, Tibet really doesn't make any instruments. Most of them are made in Nepal or Pakistan or India. So that's one thing to watch out for. And you'll even see a lot of things like Tibetan bowl or Tibetan gong made in Nepal, right in the listing. So you're kind of like, what? Okay. So Tibet is a big buzzword. Then any sort of those kind of new age, touchy-feely words, watch out for those. It's crazy what people will put up there. But anyway, we're going to investigate eBay. Look at a bunch of listings and talk about them. And I will tell you, what's right or wrong about the listing and things to watch out for when you are trying to buy legit instruments on eBay. Now, not to discourage you, there's a lot of great stuff still out there that you can get. But here's one important suggestion I want to give you, especially if you are buying gongs or bowls, even bells too. If you go back a couple of videos in this series, I listed some legit gong dealers. Gongs Unlimited, Memphis Gong Chamber, the Gong Shop in San Francisco, and Steve Weiss Music. When you're looking at listings on eBay, and this is what I do, when I'm looking at stuff, I always reference back to those 4 places. Check the prices. Something on eBay might look really good, and you go to one of those 4 places, and they will have it for less. So I always like to reference things, especially things I'm not sure of, because I can't, keep thousands of prices in my head for different gongs, So I like to go back and reference things. Same thing, bowls and bells, you can reference those on the, many of those same 4 websites, or there are some other good bowl sellers out there. But reference things that you find on eBay. Don't just, oh, this looks like a great deal, because often it is not. It might be a great item, but you can buy the same type of item somewhere else for much less. And again, a lot of these things come from Asia, so you're paying bigger shipping. Like I buy a lot of items from Japan because I'm into rin bowls and Japanese bells and Japanese wood blocks and things. So the shipping can get to be quite a bit. If you can find the same item here in the States or wherever you live in your country, your area, you can probably get the shipping much cheaper if it's the same item. Now, if you do find an item at eBay and it's exactly what you want, and maybe they have a link to a sound file or a video and it has the sound that you exactly want, it might be worth paying the price, even if it's a little more than somewhere else, because it's kind of exactly what you're looking for. So a lot of this is really a judgment area. But anyway, not to take up any more time here, let's get into the video. Let's look at the jungle that is eBay on its cup of time. So here we are. We're going to take a live look at eBay. It's July 9th, 2021, and I'm on eBay. I went through earlier and picked out quite a few different gongs to look at. So we are going to take a look at what's currently out there and certain things to look for as far as good or bad. So we just scroll back here, we can see that there are 1,995 results for Gong on eBay. Now granted, as we could see, here's some sheet music, gong covers, gong mallets, gong recovering material, and there will be stands and everything else in here. So not all of the basically 2,000 listings today are actual gongs. But we're going to take a look at, what do I have here? Probably about 15 or 20 and go through them. All right, first let's look at this one. Small gong with wooden stand and mallet. $17 US. And if we look at this, we've got a little Thai gong. Comes on kind of a rustic looking stand. If you followed my previous videos, this is what I would call a tourist gong. Let's see, we get a picture of the gong itself. Looks pretty rough. Here's the stand, I mean, all hand done. Yeah, this is something you would find at an import store like World Market, Pier 1, something like that. I remember one time seeing gongs similar to this in the spring display at Target by my house. So here's our basic little tourist gong. $17 is not a bad price on it. Let's go back and see what's the shipping on this. $31.10 shipping. That's kind of crazy. So basically we are looking at almost $50, $48 for this little gong. 17 bucks isn't bad. I mean, if I could go down the street and buy something like this for 17 bucks and hear it, play it, then I might buy one or a bunch of them. And that's the thing you have to watch out with these kind of gongs, is some of them could sound really nice, some of them could sound kind of dead and duddy, and you don't know by looking at eBay. Let's scroll down here. They have no sort of sound file available. So I mean, this is a crapshoot. If you want to spend 50 bucks on something to put on your fireplace mantle or your desk at work or something like that, all right. But if you were looking to buy a decent sounding musical instrument, you would be better off spending your $50 at a reputable gong dealer, like I'll have linked below, and you can probably buy the same thing. They don't say how big it is, but it looks to be probably 7-8 inches in diameter. You can buy something like that probably cheaper and better from a reputable dealer. But you will find stuff like this all over eBay. Let's look at the next one. All right, Tibetan handmade 24-inch high resonance temple gong, 7 chakra Buddha. I love how they spell chakra, C-H-A-C-K-R-A. Okay, so here's typical of what we find today. A lot of things like this. Tibetan, buzzword number 1, handmade, number 2, temple, number 3, 7 chakra, number 4, Buddha, number 5. So there's 5 big buzzwords in the description of this. And if we, okay, let's take a look at that picture. Okay, so we have engraving on this. There we go. I mean, it's really beautiful. But if we look beneath the engraving, it's basically a wind gong with a lot of fancy engraving. So here's the Buddha figure. Here are the 7 chakras. Here's all the auspicious symbols like Buddha's eyes. We got the Om symbol. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. But we find a lot of these gongs out there today because this is sort of the thing. This is probably, let's look at the description here. Beautiful Nepalese carved gong made in Nepal. So again, it said Tibetan gong, handmade, Tibetan, but it's not from Tibet. It's made in Nepal because nothing is really made in Tibet. The stunning 7 metal, there's another buzzword, 7 metal handcrafted gongs is worked to shape and carved by expert intentful hands. The gongs usually have a predominant frequency, but many alternative notes and overtones are easily achievable with play area and mallet variations. 7 metal. Another buzzword, just like with singing bowls. Most likely this is 2 metal, copper and tin, making bronze. It might have some trace elements that were in the ore, but I seriously doubt this is actually 7 metals, like the 7 planetary metals or anything like that. But these are buzzwords. These are the things you have to look for when you're buying gongs on eBay or Reverb or some other internet site like that. Here's the big thing, $590. $100 shipping. So basically $700 for a fancy 24-inch wind gong. Again, you could go to any reputable gong dealer and buy a really nice 24-inch wind gong for much less, probably half the price. And the other thing is you could probably hear it either on their website or they might send you a file, an MP3 of it or something. And if you don't like it, it'd be easier to return than this one. So these are the things to watch for. Again, all these buzzwords. Tibetan, handmade, temple, 7 chakra, Buddha, and 7 metals down here. This one is full of buzzwords that you will see. Ignore the buzzwords. Look at the gong. Okay, here's one. Old 8.5-inch Chinese brass gong. And here's something you'll see a lot. In Asia, often they will say brass, but the gong is bronze. Could be brass, but often I have found that brass gongs I have bought are actually bronze. So there's some sort of a interchangeable with that word. Okay, let's look at this. This looks like it's probably an opera gong of some type, or maybe a ma gong. Really dark patina. Looks like it's had a lot of wear and use. Nice little handle. Some interesting decorations on the back. That's somebody, most likely the owner, had put on there. And I mean, this looks like it's an actual old gong. I don't think this one has a faked patina like we talked about in a previous video. $35.50 free standard shipping. I mean, that's not bad for something like this. I mean, I might even take a chance on this, you know, for 35 bucks. I could, if I didn't like it, I could flip it probably for 35 bucks. And that's the only description, old 8.5-inch Chinese brass gong. Not bad. This is probably an old gong. It really has what looks like an authentic patina. Okay, let's move on. Here we go, another one of those fun ones. 20-inch chakra carved super sound Tibetan temple healing gong, 51 centimeters from Nepal. Okay, we've got all the buzzwords. Chakra, super sound is an interesting one. Tibetan temple healing and then it is from Nepal. So they always put Tibetan in there, but again, these things are not made in Tibet. All the metal workers are over the border in Nepal, India, or Pakistan. But Tibet is the big buzzword because it's the ancient kingdom and, you know, all of this sort of stuff. It's the big buzzword. Another beautiful, beautiful gong. Here's the Buddha sitting. It looks like we have some chakras here. Nice flower decorations. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's a very nice looking gong. It's hard to tell what it'll sound like. It looks like a flat gong, like a wind gong. And that's what we have. Let's look and see if there's any description here. Stunning, huge sized, hand-etched bronze temple gong. Super beautiful patina. The gong sings easily with rich harmonic, soothing sound, energetic and vibrating temple-like sounds. Again, all these different sort of buzzwords. And it's 51 centimeters or 20 inches. $350, 45 shipping. So basically $400 for a fancy 20-inch wind gong. Or it could be a little heavier than a wind gong. Hard to tell. No sound file, unfortunately. No YouTube video. You know, you're taking a chance. I mean, if you want something that looks beautiful like this to hang up in your living room or your den, that's one thing. If you were looking for a musical instrument, you know, you're taking a gamble as far as what it actually sounds like. And for $400, you could buy two 20-inch wind gongs. Or you could possibly buy a 20-inch wind gong and a 20-inch Chow Gong for $400 elsewhere. So these are the things you have to really look for and, you know, discern for yourself. Do I want something that looks really pretty like this? Okay. Now, I'm surprised they haven't put singing bowl in here because there are some authentic gongs coming out of Tibet and Nepal that are made from old, cracked and broken singing bowls that are melted down and recast into gongs, and then they are doing the etching on them. But there's only a few places you can get those, and they're usually super expensive, which, you know, is reasonable because they're made from the old metal and they're really well-made gongs. But now, because of the popularity of those, which you're talking about $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, whatever, depending on the size of the old actual singing bowl gongs, we have these copycat gongs that are made to look a lot like them. Here's another one. And if we look, we have gong, Tibetan, Chenrezig mantra, 7 metals hammered. It's a 24 and 3/8 inch, basically 24 inch. So we have Tibetan. Chenrezig is the ultimate Buddha. We have mantra, 7 metals hammered. You know, it's handmade, that sort of thing. $1,040 with $130 shipping. So, I mean, we're looking at $1,170 for a 24-inch gong. And here we have mantra prayers, Buddhic deity, hand hammered. Unfortunately, no video. Remarkable sound quality, but no video or audio file. Powerful for its size. Metals used: gold for the sun, silver for the moon, mercury for Mercury, copper for Venus, iron for Mars, tin for Jupiter, lead for Saturn. The 7 planetary metals. I highly doubt that. I would think it's copper for Venus, tin for Jupiter, maybe some trace elements of iron or other metals, but it's not really 7 metals. I highly, highly doubt that. Just like singing bowls are not 7 metals. So here we go, 24-inch. Let's open this up here. Beautiful etchings again. There's the Buddha, and we have all kinds of nice decorations on it. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful gong. I mean, look at that. With the prayer around the edge. But it's basically a wind gong, or slightly heavier, maybe sounding a little more like a sun gong, for almost $1,200. That's ridiculous. Unless you really want the decorations, and as we have seen in a couple previous examples, you can get highly decorated similar gongs for a lot less. So I would just, without a sound file, I just would not throw, almost $1,200 at somebody to send me a gong I've never heard. Here's another one, Gongs, Thai, Gongs, ancient. Okay, we got ancient, 14-inch, handmade handicrafts from Thailand. Okay, just says ancient. Let's look at this guy. It's a nice looking flat gong. This probably has a rim. Hard to tell from the picture. I think 14 inches. Maybe it is a flat gong. There it is. It's got a rim. It's very typical of the flat gongs you will find in Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, that area. It's a nice little gong. It looks like, the real deal. $129, free shipping, that's good, but it's 14 inches. Let us see. No sort of sound file. Again, here it is. What does it say? Brass, 100%. Most likely it is bronze, not brass. It could be brass, but I would think it's more likely bronze. Let's look at the second picture. It was a little better. There we go. Looks like it has a nice patina. I don't know. It looks like that could just be from coming out of the oven, and that's the crust, and they haven't done any sort of scraping or filing on it. It looks good. 14 inches, 129. Again, you're taking a gamble to buy something like this with no sort of sound file. And you could buy similar gongs for less from some of the bigger dealers, and you can get a sound file. Another gong here, large Tibetan Gong, mantra, carved, handmade, Nepal. It's funny, they're saying from Nepal, 24 inches Tibetan Gong. It's like Tibet. See, they got to get that word in there, even twice. Tibetan, because that's the buzzword. Scroll down quickly, 24 inches in diameter, 7 metal mixed, blessed before shipping. Look at that. This one is actually blessed. So you better buy it. You better go on eBay right now and buy this one. I should put the link in the description here so everybody can fight over this gong here. Best for chakra healing, meditation, mindfulness, and open blocked chakra. So, there we go. A lot of buzzwords again. Let's open this up. Beautiful, beautiful. You have the double dorja here. You've got the prayers going around. It's gorgeous. You got the mallet. I don't know. Do you get a free bracelet with this? Maybe. Beautiful gong. But again, it's essentially a wind gong or a sun gong. This looks fairly thick. If you look at the edge here. Hard to tell though. You get that free bracelet with a prayer on it. I mean, that seals the deal for me. $550, free shipping. Okay, that's good, but still, you were paying $550 for a wind or sun gong, and you don't know how it sounds, pass. Here's one of my favorite ones. Vintage 1960s Feisty symphonic gong, 16-inch, West Germany. Extremely rare. And they want $1,200 for this 16-inch Feisty deco gong. And yes, they are fairly rare. Feisty has not made these in, I don't know, 20 years or so. And it says, okay, it says Ludwig on the back. So this guy is from the 60s. So this is a very old one. But still, there we go. Feisty, hand-built, made in West Germany, Ludwig. This is when the Ludwig Drum Company was the American importer distributor for Feisty products in about the mid-60s to the early 70s. So this is old. Probably has a really good sound, but they want $1,200 for it. That is totally insane. I've seen these before. Go for a couple $100. Unless you really, really, really want this and you're so flush with money that $1,200 isn't a big deal, I would steer clear of this one and wait to find another one cheaper. They are out there. They are rare, but they're not that rare. And I've seen plenty of them, like I said, in the $100 to $200 price. But this is crazy. For $1,200, you can buy a really nice planet gong. You could buy a nice symphonic gong. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Pass on that. Okay, Wuhan, 12-inch Bao Gong. As we spoke before, Wuhan is a province in China where they have a number of factories. And Wuhan also is a registered trademark brand name, and this looks like the actual Wuhan brand stamp. It's a 12-inch Bao. They want basically $80, $20 in shipping, so you're looking at like $100 for a 12-inch Bao Gong, which is not a bad price. And this is from Drum Center in Portsmouth, which is actually a really good and legitimate dealer. Yeah, I have like a 13-inch Bao Gong like this. It's a great gong. Bao Gongs are really nice. They have the nipple on them here, and they're sort of a raised center. You can see this little indent here. A very solid sound. They're great. I happen to own probably 30 or more Bao Gongs. I have over 2 octaves of tuned M Bao Gongs from Dream. I have a lot of the ones like this in different sizes. They're great gongs. Okay. And if you called them up and said, hey, I'm really interested in this Wuhan Bao Gong, can you play it for me? Or if you have more than one, can you play them over the phone, or can you send me a file, just a quick MP3 of them? They might do it because they're a reputable store. So, yeah, in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, a drum center. So, yeah, $100. Yeah, that's probably worth it. It's a really nice gong, and if you could hear it and know the sound would work for you, then you're in business. Another one here, Tibetan Gong symbol, Tibet, etched Buddhist temple gong symbol. So here we go. We have all the buzzwords again, and Tibet is even in there twice. And I'm very familiar with these guys. These are usually crap. The ones I have played, and I have played plenty of these are very much your tourist type gong, and the sound is usually kind of short and dull. There's not a lot of richness to it. They look pretty. Again, if you want one to hang up in your house or something as a decoration, that's fine. It's 11 inches in diameter, no mallet, authentic Tibetan temple gong, made in Nepal. There we go. Hand forged bronze gong, and the product is a masterpiece of craftsmanship. Okay. Yeah, what can I say? I have played a lot of these, and most of them are kind of duddy. I certainly wouldn't pay $250 for this. This is ridiculous. You can buy the same gongs from a gong dealer for under $100. Even maybe more like 80 bucks or something. And it will be the exact same gong, often with the Dobani brand name on it. It'll be the same thing. And again, if you go through a reputable dealer, they would probably be glad to play it over the phone to give you an idea of what the pitch and tone is, or send you a file of it, an MP3 or something. But yeah, 250 bucks. Avoid stuff like this. This is ridiculous. Next victim, a Chow Gong, 20 centimeters with a beater, musical instruments. $45, free shipping. This is coming from a place in Staten Island, New York. Okay, let's take a look at it. Looks like very much like the small Chow Gong I had in the previous video when we were looking at gongs. And here it is, a Dobani made in China. I have some Dobani gongs just like this. They sound fine. They have a nice little tone to them. It's like an 8-inch. And even one of them in the video, the one that said Wuhan on it, if you look in the previous video, was a Dobani one. These are great little gongs. 45 bucks, yeah, that's not a bad price if you want it like a small Chow Gong that's going to have a nice little sound. Not much information here that's really important. Give you a little description of it and all, but yeah, not a bad deal. 45 bucks, that's about the going rate. You might be able to find it a little cheaper somewhere else, depending. I would check with some of the bigger dealers. Yeah, you might be able to get it for half the price. Or maybe 30 some bucks, 10 bucks less or so. But yeah, that's a good little gong. And here we go. Oh, this is a great one. I picked this one out because it's a perfect one. Feng Shui. So here we go. We have Feng Shui in there finally. Good luck. And it's from Japan. And if we look at this, even kind of a crappy picture, not very focused, but yeah, this might be just a cheapy little brass gong on a nice wooden stand. It looks like there's a little coin in the base of the stand. You have a very hard, looks like probably all wooden mallet. Yeah, it's probably brass. Could be bronze, but I suspect this is a brass one. Maybe pressed out. Again, as I talked about in the previous video, a tourist gong. That is exactly what this is. $45.74, free shipping. So you got 46 bucks in, you know, it says material, copper and wood. Well, copper is the gong, wood is the stand. It doesn't really say much because it's probably brass, which is made with copper. It's a copper alloy. What do they have in here? Zen. Okay, there's a nice buzzword. Zen art. Feng Shui. Yeah, this is a real tourist gong. Avoid these kind of things for 50 bucks. They probably don't sound good. If I go back to the previous one, I'd rather spend the same amount of money on this actual Chow Gong, which will sound good. It'll have a really nice rich tone, where this And even it even just looks kind of cheesy. It's probably printed on. It's not etched like the ones we've seen before. Yeah, avoid those guys. Here's a perfect one here. I picked this one out because it's Cost Plus World Market Gong on a stand. From World Market. There we go. A little Thai gong. And again, we have that very rustic looking stand. Tied together, kind of funky looking logs with a base. Can't really read that. I love when people take pictures. You know, it's 2021, people. Every phone can take a really clear picture. And a big company like World Market, you would think they're using like a nice 35 millimeter camera. Take a picture so people can read it. I'm just amazed at companies who, or people, you know, selling stuff on eBay or Craigslist or whatever, and have the worst pictures. I mean, it's just like, and you want to sell it. Okay, my picture rant is over. But $15, $11 shipping, $26. Not a bad price. Again, I would like to be able to hear something like this. If you are lucky, you might go to a world market and find, they might have 8 or 10 of these. You can fly through them and find a couple that sound really good, a couple of different pitches. And if they're $15, you got no shipping, maybe some tax. So, I mean, if you bought 3 of them with tax, you're probably looking at like $50. Hey, that's a great deal. Put a different cord on them, hang it on your gong rack. You have 3 nice little Thai gongs with different pitches. These are probably like 7 inches. Could be 6. I'd say probably 7 or 8 inches. Yeah, a lot of them might sound kind of funky or dead, but I've checked a lot of these out at places like that, and you know, you can find some good ones once in a while. Places like World Market, 10,000 Villages, those type of stores, or affiliated stores. Different sort of import stores, especially where they do a lot of different things like fabrics and jewelry and different handcrafts will often bring in gongs and bells and things. And a nice thing about those stores is you can play them. I have a couple places here in town that I try to go to occasionally because their stock changes, and you know, they'll get in little gongs and they'll get in bells and things, and I like to go in there and check them out and play them, and I've bought quite a few because I could actually play them. So yeah, if you got a world market and you come across these, it could be a great deal for $15. All right. Although, does it say like new? Oh, this is a used one. But still, I've seen these for maybe $20, $25. It could be a good deal at World Market or someplace like that. Small gong with wooden stand and mallet. Here's another one, $17. And they want $31.10 for shipping, so we're looking at like $48. No, is this the same one we had earlier? This is, I think, the same gong we were looking at earlier. Okay, it is the same gong. You find all these things on eBay. Here we go, some different buzzwords here. Taoist, Buddhist, Dharma. Okay, we got 3 great buzzwords here. It is a Bao Gong. $62, basically $20 shipping. $82, let's see if it tells us how big it is. 10.6 inches. You could probably find the same thing from a dealer for less. Somebody, like if you live in the States here, if you live in Europe at a dealer there, or wherever you live, you could probably find something for a little less, save a few bucks, and the benefit of you could hear it. This is probably a nice gong, typical Bao Gong. This one is the, and you'll find them different too. I mean, this is partially lathed. The one we saw before just had the little 3 rings around it. The Bao Gongs I have are totally lathed, so they're very bronze looking. But it's a Bao Gong. It probably sounds fine. I would want to hear it before I spent $82 on it, but could be a good gong. Gong bell plate. And the description, a flat 12-inch gong, Tibetan, Nepalese, in question marks there. Focus sound similar to a bell plate. I have seen plenty of these. I do have some. These are usually made in Nepal, and they're usually advertised as Tibetan gongs. And it's very thick like a bell plate. More than a gong. Here you can see the edge. These are thick and heavy. So it is more of a bell plate. Again, I would like to hear these. Some of them are kind of dead and they go bong and that's it. Other ones go bong and ring out. I have a small one that's just kind of dead, but I got it so cheap it was like, why not? But some of these are really good, some of them not so good. And often you can find them at dealers and you're able to hear them, and they want basically $100, $20 shipping, $120 for this. You could probably find it cheaper from a bigger dealer, and again, be able to hear it. And here's our final one. 20-inch gong, Hanchi East Sound. Okay, it's a good example. East Sound is a brand. Hanchi, I believe, is a factory, the Hanchi factory, and then East Sound buys a boatload of these, a container full, whatever, brings them in, puts their little logo on them, and there you go. Now this one has a little bit of a lip on it, so it's not a wind gong, even though it looks like one, so it'll have a little more focused sound. I believe this is what they call a white gong. It has a little lip, not quite a chow, not quite a wind. 20 inches. Should have a really nice sound. I've played plenty of these. So $61, $28 shipping. So you're looking at like basically $90 for a 20-inch gong. Yeah, it's not a bad price. Again, it probably sounds good. So, you know, if you got the cash, you could, you know, take a chance on it, and if not, flip it. But again, I would like to hear it. I was hoping to find one today that actually had a link to YouTube or someplace, you know, an audio file so you could hear it. There are places out there that do have that. Like I said, we're looking at like 2,000 listings under gongs, so I only went through a few pages to find what I've got here, and none of them have any sort of a sound file. Now, it's possible you might be able to ask somebody if they could take a phone video and send it to you, message it to you or something. I'm not, you know, when I'm buying gongs, I'm not always looking for the highest quality recording studio sound. I just want to know two main things. What is the note, the pitch of the gong or bowl or bell, and what is the overall sound quality? And even a phone video can give you those two ideas. And I can make a judgment from there, whether it's like, yeah, this will work, or no, I will pass. But like I said, it doesn't have to be recording studio quality to know what it is. I just want to get an idea what it sounds like. So often, if I'm really interested in a gong, I will contact the seller and say, hey, could you just send me like a 10-second, 15-second phone video of this so I could hear it. And a lot of times they will oblige with that. Sometimes they won't. If they won't, then, you know, I'll move on. But I've bought quite a few things because I was able to hear them. And, you know, more so like here in the States. This is like somebody in Minnesota, so it's a private person. A lot of times the dealers, they're like, oh, I'm not going to make a video for somebody. You know, I got too much to do. But somebody like you or I selling something, we might go, okay, yeah, grab my phone, turn it on, hit the gong, make a video, and then I can message it. It's not a big deal. I would do that for somebody if they were really interested, and if they ask nicely, you know. That's a big thing too. If you say, hey, I really am intrigued by this, could you please, you know, it's not too much trouble or whatever, you know, be polite. Could you please send me, or is it possible to send me a short phone video? I just want to know how it sounds and what the note is. Okay, so here we are, eBay. Just taking a look at something like 20 examples out of the probably well over 1,000 gongs on eBay today. You can find a lot of different things out there. And part of it too is just building up your knowledge base, learning about different types of gongs and playing a lot of gongs so that you know what different ones sound like, so that you can look at a picture and know, you know, what is this going to sound like? Just like this little world market gong. I know what it's going to sound like. I happen to have 6 or 7 or 8 small Thai gongs like that. I know what it's going to sound like. The only question for me is, what would be the pitch of it? And also, is it more of a tourist Thai gong, or is it more of a better quality one that has a musical sound? But I can tell what a lot of things I see on eBay will sound like, because I have played thousands and thousands of gongs and bowls and bells in my career. Okay, so thanks a lot for hanging out and listening to me rant about eBay. It can be a good place to find stuff. There are still bargains to be had. I like to frequent eBay late at night, like midnight to 4 in the morning, because a lot of times things will get put up then, or they're put up just before then, and people don't look at eBay at night. Let's say after dinner, they're watching Netflix or something, so they're not on eBay. And a lot of times you can find great buy it now stuff that has just gone up, and you're one of the first people to see it, and you can swoop in and buy it and get a fantastic deal on something from people who don't know. And that's the other big thing about a lot of stuff on eBay, is people don't know about gongs or bowls or bells. So they're doing the best they can to describe stuff, but often they don't really know. They don't know what it is. They don't know what it's worth. They don't know if it's a good one or a cheapy one or a tourist one or whatever. So they just have something to sell. So you have to often do a little detective work to find out what it is, and especially the value. Like I said, I reference all the main gong dealers when I'm buying stuff to see, okay, is this a good deal? $300, is this a good deal? Or can I go to Steve Weiss Music and they'll have it for $240? And I know Steve Weiss Music, so I know it'll be good, and they can probably send me a sound file of it, as opposed to just blindly paying $300 for something. So do your homework, and look at eBay a lot, and look at the descriptions, and try to learn things, and go on all the main gong dealers. I'll have them linked in the description below this video. Go on their website and study the gongs. Listen to sound files if they have them. Look at the descriptions. Study the pictures. If you're serious about buying instruments, and I know a lot of people are, do your homework. Learn about them. It will just enrich your knowledge, even if you don't buy a lot of stuff, just to know more about the instruments, all the gongs, bowls, and bells. It's fantastic. There are some great books out there too. Frank Perry's Himalayan Sound Revelations about singing bowls. If you don't have a copy of that, shame on you. Everybody should have that. It is the resource for singing bowls and learning about them. Pick up a copy of that. Get Philip McNamara's great book, Gongs and Tam Tams. There's a lot of great information there about gongs and what to look for and different types and descriptions and that. Do your homework. I have done 50 years of homework, and I keep doing more homework. I want to learn all I can, and so I'm always reading about stuff, listening to things and that. But if you do your homework and you're well informed, you can go on eBay or Reverb or some other site, Craigslist, any of those places, and you can often find some great deals on instruments. Okay, I've kept you long enough. Time to make another cuppa. We will see you next time. Bye.